question I often get asked is, what do you do with all that food from your garden? Well, this week I'm going to show you. So this week I'm adding vertical space to different areas in the garden. We're harvesting leeks and lots of other fun things. Fresh grapefruit is one of our favorite, and these guys are finishing up this year, so we're gonna get the rest of the fruit off the tree. You can see next year's fruit is already forming, which makes me very happy because we love this. And the longer you leave it on the tree, the sweeter it gets. So this fruit is perfect right now. It's so good. It's time to get most of the rest of these off the tree. Nice job, buddy. Look at all that grapefruit. Although the leeks aren't huge, it is time to harvest. It's heating up, and we're gonna go ahead and harvest these leeks. Not too bad for a morning harvest. Cucamelons, cucumber, tomatoes, zucchini, peaches. Looks like a good summer harvest. This week's harvest kept us pretty busy. I was really glad to have extra hands in the kitchen. We had a lot of fun making peach jam. We shredded zucchini and carrots, dehydrated onions, and harvested the last of the grapefruit. It was a great week for preserving in the kitchen this week. Nice job, Calvin. I think it's good. I think you got all the juice, buddy. I think my favorite part about these onions is that sound that they make, that dry, crispy sound. I'll keep these in jars, and then when I'm ready to use them, I'll either use them as is, or crumble them up, or even grind them up if I want them finer. But they will store better if I keep them like this. Having chopped fresh vegetables in the freezer ready to go is so convenient. Now that things are growing, it was also time to add some vertical space to the garden. I'm going to show you one of my very favorite ways to add vertical space for about $3. It's a really inexpensive way that I add every year, different areas in my garden. Growing vertically is one of my favorite ways to add space to your garden, but it isn't always possible to have a big trellis. One of my favorite ways to add vertical space is with these ladder mesh blocks. They're easy to put in anywhere in the garden. The ladder mesh block is readily available at places like Home Depot and Lowe's. It's about $3 or $4, and there are a couple of different sizes. It's really easy to just stick one end in the ground and then stick the other end in the ground and vine the vegetable or fruit over it. So that's what we're going to do today. All right, it's just that easy. I've got this cucumber now, Space Master cucumber. Just gonna climb right up and over that. Easy to do it when the vegetable is small and you don't have to untangle things. One of the things I really love about these is at the end of the season, you simply just pull them up and they're really easy to store. Even storing several of them doesn't take up too much space. Some of my not so favorite bugs made appearances this week in the garden, and I'm going to show you some of my favorite methods for dealing with those bugs and what you can do in your garden. These guys will just go to town. So what I like to use is BT. I sprayed the BT about 2 days ago. On this, you can see the caterpillars ingested it and are no longer with us. Bad for the caterpillars, but it doesn't harm other things. And then I will just trim back where this damage is on this Texas Mountain Laurel. And just keep an eye and see if I see more caterpillars, then I will spray more. Depending on the age of your tree or bush, you may or may not decide to treat. If it's not affecting the overall health of the tree, you may just kind of let them be and do their thing. They pretty much come every year about this time, but if it's a young tree or it seems really overwhelmed, then you may decide to treat, and BT is a great option if you do decide to treat. If you grow grapes, unfortunately this is a familiar sight, and if you turn the leaf over, you're going to see either caterpillars or eggs for the grape leaf skeletonizer. So you have to act quick. There's a few things you need to do. I like to remove affected leaves, just throw them away, and I also will spray BT on the whole plant. And when these little guys hatch, actually when their cousins hatch, these guys aren't gonna hatch, they will eat the sprayed leaves, and then that does a number on them. Those grape leaf skeletonizers, that's a very good name. They will take care of an entire grapevine in no time at all. Planted some okra here in this bed where I had some open spots. These zucchini are going to finish up at some point this summer, and the okra will take over. They don't mind the heat. This bed gets full sun. They will do just fine. The spring wildflowers are finishing up, but I've got to have flowers in my garden. So I sprinkled some of these coreopsis seeds in a few different places in the garden. They don't mind the heat. I also planted a few globe amaranth and cosmos seeds around the garden. Love the summer color that these bring. These candy cane peppers are living up to their name. It's so fun to see all the stripes on them. The Armenian cucumbers are finding the trellis. I'm excited for these guys. So once they first get there, if they're not climbing, I use these little clips. Clip them on. They're really easy. Thanks for all the suggestions last week. I added tulle and it has definitely been helping. We've got some nice squash in here. If your tomatoes aren't quite ripe when you bring them inside, set them stem side down and they will ripen right up. When I have garden fresh Roma tomatoes and basil, this is one of my favorite ways to eat them. Dinner comes together super fast, and you can't beat the flavor of homegrown tomatoes and basil. Do you have questions about gardening in hot climates or other things you'd like to see? Let me know in the comments and I'll add them to next week's video. Thank you so much for watching.